Good evening, everyone. Thank you all for coming. This is an amazing turnout. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Dave Marks, and I've served, had the privilege of serving as your president for the last couple of years. And had the privilege of serving with this dedicated and very capable group. I believe in term limits in this position, and I would like to step down. I will step down as your president. I hope to remain on the board. As a working member, we've got a lot to do. And I thank you all for your cooperation. Okay, I'm Dave and I'm stepping down.
I'm pretty loud. I don't even typically need a microphone, so I'll keep that in mind if you have any problems hearing me. I'm not screaming at you if you have really great ears, but I am just very loud by nature, so that should be helpful today. Our first order of business, because we are going to have a change of positions, are appointments. And so if you'll allow me, we have quite a few. I'd like to begin with a conflict of interest statement. If you have a conflict of interest with any of the following items, board, notify the chairman, and at the time of the board action, refrain from commenting or voting on the item. So I'd like to start off by saying, please remember, we are all volunteers. Based on a legal advice, we believe that we've done all procedures correctly, and it was the board's responsibility to fill vacancies. Rather than announcing decisions with an overabundance of caution, we decided to fulfill the responsibility during the monthly board meeting. As was in the minutes of August, Mark Hess decided to retire from the board and his position as treasurer. As Dave mentioned, he no longer wishes to be board president, and he's agreed to serve the remainder of his term as vice president. The board decided to appoint me as president. Scott Stillman has agreed to do the remainder of Mark Hess's term, who is our former treasurer. Raul Farid has agreed to fill the treasurer position, and Matt Logman is now interested in the position of sergeant at arms. So the first thing we need to do is I need to ask for a motion to approve these appointments for officers.
I make a motion that we approve.
I'll second this.
Barbara seconds. All in favor? All opposed? All right. So all board appointments have been confirmed and they will be recorded in the meeting minutes. Yeah. If you don't already know, there was notifications that went out several times that we are going to be using Zoom to record the meetings. So that Zoom link will not only be available for future meetings with the presentations as well as the Q&As that you're aware of, but also all future board meetings will be available on Zoom. And so you'll have that link available to you, and then you would be able to use it. My understanding is the same link, and then you will use that same link each time you'd like to watch the meeting on Zoom in the event that you can't make it.
Good job.
Yeah, thank you. We had a lot of requests for that, and we really appreciate that getting set up. All right, so we'll start out with general comments. Are there any general comments from the board? Okay.
How long will the Zoom meetings last? Do they eventually go away? Or
I'm going to talk about it during the presentation afterwards, but the goal is that once we're done within a couple days, they're going to be uploaded to the Google Drive for that month's activities and be there in perpetuity.
All right. So the question was, how long will the Zoom meetings be available? And so, did you hear Scott?
Do you want me to say it again? So the Zoom meetings are gonna be recorded. Once they're done, within a couple days, we've set up the Google Drive that you've all gotten links to. We'll send out those links again, but in the Google Drive is broken down by months. And that month's meeting will be in that month's folder forever. That's the goal.
Scott. So next we are at homeowner comments that are not items on our agenda. And keep in mind, all of the questions regarding any of the HOA business will be dealt with after this meeting, but any other comments are welcomed by you now. Do we have anybody? Robert?
I would like to know if anything came of the duck incident.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, I think the duck incident was under control. Last I heard, I think the ducks have found a new home, and my understanding is that they aren't an issue anymore. I know the board spoke about that, and we talked about the fact that we would not be making any changes to our CCNRs unless there was some new problem that was created as a result of the ducks visiting and causing any kind of problem. So there won't be any changes. Thank you, Robert. Okay, so we're on to our reports. We'll start with our association manager, Rick.
Homeowners with arrears of 90 days or more. Nice to report 0. Marina arrears, we had an arrears of $564, but they paid in full, so there's actually 0 arrears there. And WRSC, our tennis, there's 0 arrears there. So the report shows $564, but actually everything's 0. And then other than that, as far as the manager's report, other than everything's dry out there, and luckily we've got a little bit of rain. We've been working on mainly decks and stairs and things like that. A lot of that's caused by so much dry weather. You know, the ground is shrunk 3 or 4 inches in a lot of areas where nobody's watering or anything. And typically, you know, people don't think to water, but hopefully we start getting some rain, because that's caused a lot of settling on decks and stuff. And we finished up the on Sailboat, the hill over there, where we taken down the old railroad ties and put in compacted dirt and grass on top of that. Luckily that's nice and green because we've been watering that. And other than that, just working on regular maintenance items that come up, small ones, big ones. We haven't had to worry about too many leaks lately because we haven't had much rain, but that's where we're at.
Thank you, Rick.
Thank you, Rick. So the next for the architecture request is Kate Lawson.
My goodness.
Is that
Quite a bit here. 18105 Bell Harbor Drive. Remove and replace 7 windows, size for size. Window frames will be bronze, which is a bronze now. The inside will be white, the outside will be bronze. Basically everything, he's just taken out the windows and replacing them same as. The type of windows he has a little bit wider frame than normal, but there's several of them throughout the neighborhood. Yeah, it's 7 windows, size for size. That's it. He's discussed it with his neighbor. The only little hitch we got in here is that he's ordering, Mike, you're here. You have 7 windows you're doing. How many more windows you have in your house?
There's 21.
So you're replacing 14 more.
And then the other request is 14.
Yeah, so he has 14 more he wants to get ordered. If you approve these, can we at least approve the 14 more? He's wants to finish out his house. And at least approved enough to where he can order them, or if you feel like they can be approved, it's up to y'all.
Is that the opinion of the architectural committee?
Well, if he isn't around, the architectural committee doesn't.
There's anybody
Oh.
that's from that architecture.
think so.
So,
But as far as the windows, as far as him ordering, when you're replacing the same as, you know, it's pretty hard to, that situation would change. Let's approve the first one, or the architect is recommending approval on windows.
oh, they are. Okay.
Yeah.
Great. Do you hear a motion to approve that, the first,
I'll second it.
second? All in favor? Is there any discussion?
How do you feel about the 14 other windows?
I said, let them go. I mean, if these are good, why wait?
Yeah.
Why make the homeowner wait and go through all the trouble, you know?
If the windows have already been approved.
Yeah.
As long as they're the same as what he's doing now. I say no.
So then I make a motion.
You're-
I make a recommend.
You'll recommend
That's what I said.
finish.
So I think we need to amend that motion because we actually agreed to the first set of windows. So do I hear a motion to approve all 7 and the additional 14 windows to be installed into the homeowners?
I'll make a motion that we amend it so it includes all the windows, the 7 that were originally requested and the additional windows being the same, that we let him proceed with that.
Right, do we have a second?
I will second that.
Do we have any discussion? Okay, then it stands as approved.
Okay. 18112 Lakeside Lane. This was up last meeting, and the revised request for last meeting install new 22 kilowatt generator in backyard in the northeast corner. Generator will be fenced in with wood, fence to match existing fence. Neighbors have been contacted. Does everybody remember the discussion?
Yeah. I think that was the most stipulation.
Right. Does everybody have the second picture of showing that it's inside the fence and everything?
Yes.
Anyways, with them modifications, the architectural recommended approval on that.
So let's go ahead and back up a little bit because I'm new at this. And so we got our first and our second motion and that was made clear. We did not have discussion. Do I hear a vote? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those in favor say aye. All right, it stands. Sorry about that.
So that was for the generator.
All right,
Yeah.
so generator.
Oh,
we
now
don't
we're
approve
in-
any. So the generator was discussed by the committee and the committee approves. Is that
Yes.
correct? All right. So is there any discussion about that? Do I hear a motion?
Make a motion.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion? No discussion. All those in favor? All those opposed? Right, it stands.
Oh, this one's a little more. Okay, originally they didn't have all the information, so install an 8-foot by 6-foot roll-up shade on the right side of a carport. This is, did I say 2621 sailboat? Okay, 2621 sailboat. Install an 8-foot by 6-foot roll-up shade on the right side of the carport to provide sun protection for car and certain times of the day. Color to be neutral to match house. She didn't have they didn't have all that information, so they weren't gonna recommend approval unless they gave us all this information. She did get around to get some information.
Okay, so,
What was it? She talked to her neighbors.
Just like her neighbors, and her neighbor was okay with it.
Talk-
She sent the two colors.
She sent the two color choices.
Hmm.
But they do have these on the backs of some decks on, you know, we have rules for awnings and stuff. But this is a little different situation. We have some of these on some of the decks on, starboard. Afternoon sun, people pull down sort of the same type of shade. There's really nothing in our rules and stuff stating we accept them or we don't accept them. So it's a little different situation. Let me see. Okay. Oh, yeah, I do think it.
We got a picture of her carport area.
Oh, do you have that
Yeah.
picture of the carport?
It's in your thing.
each board member has one.
Right, but you have this, like, this is her carport, and it's on the, gonna be on the side, it's gonna pull down. Well, it's,
We took that picture of herself, so.
okay.
If you guys pass that around.
Yeah.
So without that additional information, they weren't gonna recommend approval, but she said if we did get information, you know what I mean, it's up to the board. So I really don't have a recommendation.
No. I think
So
maybe
discuss.
we could table it. Do you have any feedback or any discussion?
Well, I think we got, that's all the information.
Oh, wonderful. I mean, information was only that.
But if she talked to her neighbors and what color she wants, it's either one of these colors that she's okay with, so if y'all want to say either one is okay, or
If
pick
you
one,
approve it.
and she let her neighbor go ahead.
Is this the area that backs up from Nash Road one?
Yeah, the homes are, but the carport's in the front of the house. That's the short ones, like when you're right across from the canal, that's the short ones.
Oh, yeah.
And her neighbor was in fact.
They're
That's what she said.
All right, do we hear a motion to approve this as it is with the additional photograph, of what it would look like?
okay. To approve.
Do we get a second?
Second.
Do we have any discussion?
I would probably put some weight. There down.
They come with little plans.
Well, they do.
Yeah.
Okay.
Lunch and patch it to
Okay.
the theme. Right. From color and from color.
And that would be totally up to the board, y'all could choose just one color.
Right. So I make a motion that do I hear a motion
I think
that
we
we
are.
go with the brown?
Yeah.
There's two. And do we have a second?
Second.
Any more discussion? All those in favor? All those opposed? All right, so it's approved as it is with the brown.
Okay.
And all right, so next up, after architecture, is the finance report. Bro.
Okay, for the balance sheet of July 31st. We have about $131,000 in contingency funds. Historically, they like to keep it above $100,000. Replacement funds for current and future year expenses are $263,471. One month ago, this balance was $220,000, but a year ago it was $515,000. That's why we'll need to think about increasing our monthly deposit, trying to build up that reserve to somewhere between $500,000 and $1 billion eventually. On our profit and loss budget performance of the month of July, gross income for 9 months is about $10,000, $10,500 above our budget amounts. And expenses are about $34,100 more than budgeted. We spend less than budgeted on professional fees, taxes, utilities, and various other categories. We spend more on insurance. So we had a $10,000 excess more than our budget and income, but $34,000 more on expenses. But my notice that we did spend $30,200 more on insurance budget. That's monthly.
Thank you.
So because this is pending, we don't have enough information, so we are going to table it now and file it for review of.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. We accept the finances as presented.
okay, so we accept the finances as presented and we'll file them for review. All right, so next is yacht. Request, we have a report.
Oh, I have a report, if there aren't any requests or anything. Okay, so this month we had 1 new lease and 2 moved out. So we're down 1, but because some people paid their back rent, the income is up. And we are at 115%, 0.2% of what was budgeted. One of the boats, one left totally, and 1 was sold, and the guy is staying. So it went from one pocket into the next. So it's still here. Okay. Other than that, there was nothing else to report.
Is there any discussions about the yacht? Any or report? No? So we move on to house and grounds, which is Brenda had. And there are requests.
We have 2 requests for the same account section. The first one is to install pavers next to the driveway on both sides of the driveway. And if you can look at pictures that you should have, it's kind of a mix of things that are there. So making it all one thing, I think will make it really nice and go together. And the committee looked at that and they approved.
Does everybody have an opportunity to look? Do I hear those?
Okay, Brendan said me that they're gonna take out those stones that are there and just
Right.
replace.
Everything's still the same.
Yeah. Do I hear a motion?
I'm going to approve it.
I'll second that. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Nay. All right, it's approved.
Okay, the same house is going to combine a small flower bed with a large flower bed, make it all one bed. Line it with moss rock. You can see there's grass there. The grass is going to come out. And also she's having a landscaper do this, which is nice. And because just personally, I like seeing getting rid of grass. We should have less grass, more shrubs, because they require less water. And I hope that this is not going to be a new normal that we've just been through, but it could be. So, anyway, the committee looked at it, they like it, they were.
All right, do I have a motion to approve it as it is submitted?
I'm more comfortable.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no. All right. Let's stand with that. Thank you. Brenda. So next is tennis. You're the hat on, bro.
And on the tennis, we have added 2 new memberships. We have total of 18 right now. Total member income is $28,496,000. It's about 86% of what we have budgeted so far. On the pickleball, we'll be trying to start the pickleball program. There was some program going on by starting leagues and requiring $10 fees to join. Several people wanted that. We have waived the fees at this time, and we're trying to figure out some other means of trying to attract the people and have a little bit of more friendlier board to play on. Basically, we are limited to a very short period of time where we can use courts because of the employees using it. So now we are trying to get 2 or 3 days where we have few hours blocked just for pickleball. And maybe we'll find a volunteer to put the nets in and removing outside the spears. Maybe we'll attract people to go on their own and start playing, and eventually we get something done. That's all. Thanks.
About how many people are playing pickleball? Do you know a rough number?
Usually there's 6 to 8, sometimes 10 people.
And that's what days?
It's Thursday at 7.
Thursday at 7. I know I have sign-up sheets for everything out there because we were already bringing sign-up sheets for other things. So if you're interested in any of those, have a look in the back.
I think
Thank
the
you.
attendance will probably increase as it cools off.
Yeah, absolutely. I can't imagine something that he would have.
And also, everyone, feel free to play pickleball other times, other than Thursday nights. Just check with the tennis office and be sure that the pro is not giving lessons on all 3 courts. But you're welcome to play in the mornings, afternoons when the courts are vacant.
And are there still nets available in a locker? Is that
Yes.
how that works?
Accommodation. You can get out your brother.
All right, great. Can I ask you to rise again for the report for social committee? You have the-
Sure. Really not needing to take the podium, but I will, because it's pretty cool. Excuse me. There was a flyer sent out today about a neighbors night out. We've had one, past 3 or 4 years, I believe. And it's pretty successful. It's a, Texas celebrates Neighbors Night Out on October 3rd. The rest of the country celebrates it in August or something like that. Always a little different, but we'll have a coffee, water, cookies. If anyone wants to bring adult beverages or whatever their choice, you're more than welcome to. It'll be from 6 till 8 o'clock. Okay. And as Ralph mentioned, pickleball is going pretty well. It's, I think as it cools off, we may have take up a few more courts to play. That's all I have. Thank you.
Great, thank you. All right, so now we're to old business on our agenda. Is there any old business that we need to address? Or
Lori, there is something, and I don't mean to be surprising, but I met, with Rick, then we were talking about our question on insurance, and I'm waiting to hear back from our insurance agency. At some point, And before we come up with renewal, the attorney has advised that if we change the coverage that we have talked about whether we're keeping windstorm on the marina, because that was a big cost.
Can you hear her?
I'm sorry.
No, do you mind standing up? I think it'll be easier. I'm sorry, but
That's right.
it's a big group.
The question came up, and I was involved with insurance, which is the only reason I'm even bringing it up, is that when we renewed or changed our broker of record some months back, one of the questions that was raised then is the large increase we had in insurance costs last December related to the marina, and we carry windstorm coverage on the marina. If we decide to change that, which the broker would like to have some feedback if we were going to change it, it has to be voted on by the homeowners. And it will have to take, it would be a change to our documents to amend them to allow us to reduce the amount of coverage that we carry on the marina. I don't have numbers to give anybody as far as what that cost is. I'm just bringing it up because at some point soon, we either have to consider it this year or it will be put off till next year because we'll stay the same way. I just want to bring everybody's attention to that so you're thinking about it. You may hear from Lori or someone else soon if we decide to move forward and try to make any changes. Well, one of the the reason this even came up was last year about possibly not continuing with the coverage on the marina was because the marina for windstorm coverage only has a $250,000 deductible. And the insurance on the marina itself, I think was $88,000 if I remember mine. I don't remember the exact number, but it's around $88,000. So we would have to, before we would get any benefit from that coverage, we have to cover that first $250,000. It makes sense to carry it, of course, and we wouldn't change anything on the buildings and the Windermere or the other structures, but the question has been raised, does it make sense for us to carry it on the marina because we don't have any superstructure out there? It is decking the walks that we have out there. There could be damage. There's no doubt about that, but because of that large deductible is where the question was raised. It's something everybody should think about if they have some feedback on it. Like I said, the current broker is working on, he's going under the assumption we're going to do exactly what we've done in the past, which is continue to carry that. If we were to want to change that or reduce it based on what the premiums come in, it would require a change in the documents, which would require a 2/3 vote from all the homeowners if they decide to change that. Is there any questions from anybody? I mean, it's important. Sure.
You took the $250,000, but what is the amount, the most that they pay period?
The coverage, I believe it was at 80% co-insurance on $1.7 million, if I recall the total.
80% on the
Yeah.
So that's where they is.
Pardon me?
That's where there is 800,000.
Yeah.
Will the board be providing a cost analysis
It's
to the members?
well, before it ever goes to a vote, we have to get some estimates from the broker as far as if we can even write it without it and what that difference would be. One of the ways coming from Portland down the coast near Corpus, our insurance down there is generally written with property insurance in one policy, and Tweeter writes the other. So it's available to get property coverage with windstorm. In fact, they don't write it down there with windstorm included. It's a separate policy. That would be only logical reason why it would be easy to split off. And we don't know if that's an option yet. They are currently meeting with the different providers of insurance, all the different companies, and they've got a vast array of them that they're talking to. We don't have an answer today. I'm just telling you that they can't go to them for quotes on this before 90 days out from the renewal date. We're right there now, which is where they're talking about it. But it's a question that could be raised. Anybody else?
Do we know what the cost was for the last repair that just happened out there? Yeah.
Rick's more familiar with that than I am.
Yeah,
I remember it
not.
Right, I think we kept it pretty close to that. It was under $100 grand.
Yeah.
That was in-house. We did.
Yeah, that was a lot of work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The risk is, of course, all of the actual dock work itself If there happened to be a boat left in the marina, which I know our policy is not to, if that boat broke loose and did any more damage. We could lose some pilings, they could be loosened up depending on debris, but generally, we don't have any, covered boat slips, we don't have any, other kinds of material above the ground, so we're gonna, but I mean, there's gonna be damage. There's no doubt about that. It's just a matter of economics of whether it makes sense to carry it or not. Pardon?
Yeah.
It's, you know, that's what triggered it several months ago. And like I said, it's been a long, very tedious process trying to make the change on this insurance to get input. And but we're coming close, and we may not be able to make the change this December unless you know, we get the information relatively soon, and if the homeowner can do that. It's a short window we're looking for.
Thank you.
It's
How
been,
much of the savings would that be in premiums?
we're waiting to find that out right now. On last year's, I'm afraid I asked that question. And what the agent told me, I didn't believe, but she said if we canceled it, it would be only $1,000.
Yeah.
I don't believe $1,000 covers windstorm coverage. So at all, in any place. So like I said, I was not comfortable with that number, but we don't have a number yet to answer your question. Pardon?
$1,000 per slip.
No, she said $1,000 in premium. So I mean, she was very specific about that. Anybody else? And like I said, I didn't mean to this was not on our original agenda. I just happened to get into it today and wanted to bring everybody up to date. Yeah. Yes, sir.
I thought we decided that, you know, if we have a hurricane, it's gonna be water damage.
Generally speaking, yes,
Yeah.
Rising water more than likely,
And
or surge.
wind damage in the marina is gonna be, it's pretty hard to get that. We can blow the picnic table out.
Well, but it's called, it's actually for windstorm, which is a named storm, and that's how they classify it as far as the insurance goes. We don't carry flood insurance on the marina, so that would be the rising water and flood.
Well, I don't understand.
There's not many people who do, including myself, so we learn something about it every day. But we're diligently trying to get some answers on that, passing along as soon as they're available.
I would like to add to what you had to say. I would like to add to what you had to say. The option that we have, if we were to vote to cancel the windstorm on the marina, if it's a substantial enough savings, we would self-insure ourselves. We would take that amount of savings and put it in a separate reserve for the marina. So that we can, and with a $250,000 deductible, to me, that makes sense. It's up for you guys to decide. Everyone that's in the marina has a $300,000 liability insurance policy. It's required. And in my experience, if their boat causes damage to the structure in the marina, they are liable. Or if their boat hits another boat and causes damage to it, so we're covered there if any boats happen to do any damage. I just wanted to add that to what Barbara has.
Thank you. Is there any more discussion or questions?
Sounds like there's savings there, man.
Yes.
There should be.
Yeah.
We don't.
Possibility. Thank you for bringing that up, Barbara. I appreciate it. Okay, so we are to new business. We have two orders of business here. One I had mentioned already about signups that are in the back. I'd love for you all to have a look. And one of them is actually new, and it was brought up by our new board member, Scott Stillman, and it was in regards to a lot of the conversations that we've been having surrounding the entire HOA increase, you know, concerns and all the questions that brought. And so we had made the decision as a board to come up with a committee of homeowners that would be willing to take walks around the neighborhood and address issues. Scott came up with an expression that he was familiar with.
It's in my
In the presentation, okay, so you'll hear more about it to come, but we are calling it a MOOP, which is matter out of place. So some of you may be familiar with it, I wasn't, but that's what we're gonna call it, MOOP walks. And so we'll allow Scott to elaborate on that. But if it's something that sounds like it interests you now or later, then please show interest out in the back on those sign-up sheets to join that group that might walk around and actually take note of things that might need to be addressed or things that might need attention. And so I just wanted to be sure to mention that, and then Scott will elaborate. So the next order, I need to do a ratification, a very specific ratification regarding a board vote that was done by email. So allow me to read the ratification so that I don't leave out anything important. The board is notifying our members of a ratification regarding a vote of board members on August 22nd by email. We voted to approve the official calling of a special meeting, which you've received. It was a special meeting of the members to vote on the increasing of the HOA fee. We're proposing a $550 and up to a $600 monthly fee increase. It was a unanimous vote by the board in favor as a result of an extensive future budget reserve study done by our finance committee and its members. The special meeting was specifically addressed at our August board meeting, although it was not made necessary until the finance committee, because we needed to call the special meeting as a result of the requirement of a vote and approval of the upcoming annual 2024 budget, which needs to be voted on by October 2nd at that Monday board meeting. So this is hereby ratifying that for the record. So do we have any discussion?
What date did you say that was?
August 22nd. Yeah, that was the email date of the vote, and they have all been recorded. So we have those, yes. All right. So I think that's about it. We are going to take a break, and then we're going to allow Scott to do his presentation. His presentation is about 15 minutes. And then we're going to take some time to actually do some Q&As, as you're well aware. We have a homeowner that graciously brought in some drinks, some refreshments. It's the best ginger beer you'll ever have if you hadn't had it. And it's all in the kitchen here. And we thank you so much, Becky, for bringing that in. You guys for sharing that, because it'll be a nice little refreshment before we get started with the Q&A and the presentation. Did I hear? No. Okay. So I just now need to make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
You made the motion, I seconded it.
All right. All in favor? Okay. All right. This meeting's adjourned. We're going to take a few-minute break, maybe 5 minutes, and then we'll assemble back in here. But please feel free to enjoy that ginger beer.